Hey there, gang. It is time for another comic book unboxing video, and usually I tell you I have no idea what is actually in the box, and that was true yesterday of the video that included the first 3/4 or so of this box. But today, while I don't know the exact titles and issue numbers, I do know in general what we're going to be looking at, and that is some vintage 1950s EC comics. So if that's your bag, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghalla. My name is Duke, and this is an unboxing video. And yes, we are going to be looking at some vintage EC comics today. This promises to be a lot of fun, so please do like, share, subscribe, comment away, do all the groovy things. Stick around to the end of the video for the secret code word that you need to enter the great 1,000 subscriber contest. We're a little stalled out right now at about 836 or so, but once we get to 1,000, I will be holding a giveaway from everybody who has entered as many times as they've been able to enter, and we will be having a mystery box that we will give away. And there's a comic book mystery box that I will be giving away to one of those lucky subscribers. And I don't know exactly what's going to be in that box. Right now, it's a mystery to me as well as to you. I just know that I will be going through some of my duplicates and things that I have, and the amount of books, don't know, but the issue numbers will add up to 1,000. So it's not going to be anything, great, crazy, valuable in the box, but it'll be a nice, breadth of everything the comic book industry has to offer as far as genres and things like that. But just a little thank you for subscribing to this channel and coming along this journey with me. If you are new to this channel because maybe you saw the EC logo and that piqued your interest, what I'm doing here, you might want to know. you might be wondering, what am I watching? I work for a company, and those of you who know this, just skip ahead till you see the comic books flittering across your screen, because you know all this already. But I work for a company called Vintage Comic Books LLC. We buy and sell comic books primarily through the website sellmycomicbooks.com. That's the vehicle we use to buy comics. And then we sell them through a variety of streams. Once they come into our warehouse, which is located in Freeport, Maine, some of them will be sold on Comic Link. Those are generally our CGC books. Some will be sold on eBay. Matter of fact, the vast majority of the books right now are sold on eBay, either as what we call raw singles or multi-book lots. Some will go in our retail store, which is .com Comics in Freeport, Maine. .com Comics is also the seller name on eBay. Pretty soon, some of them will also be going up on the Whatnot app. We will be doing some live auctions. I believe the username there is going to be Sell My Comic Books. But yeah, so I'm the guy who grades the books that we sell, whether it's on Whatnot or on eBay. The books end up on my desk. Everything that doesn't go to CGC or get stuffed into a multi-book lot or a dollar box, that ends up on my desk. I'm the one who grades them. So if you ever buy a graded book from us and you're not happy with the grade, about a 90% chance I'm the guy you're mad at. So we're gonna look at these EC books here. These are going to be all fairly low grade. I'm expecting a lot of 2s and 3s, and of course that's because if they were in higher grade, they would have gone off to CGC. So let's take a look. We'll pull out the first stack here, and it's just kind of cool. So here you go. Here's Vault of Horror number 33, all classic stuff. Here's Vault of Horror number 29. And I have to admit that I don't know my EC comics enough to be able to say to you, this is an issue with the first example of this artist, artwork at EC, or this is the first of this type of story or anything like that. I couldn't even really tell you off the top of my head what title or issue number contained Bernie Kingston's Master Race, that all-time classic story, although EC certainly had lots and lots of classic stories. Here's Vault of Horror 28. Here's 25. But anyway, if you know any keys or anything like that to any of these issues that I'm showing right now, please do jump in the comment section and let us know. This is unfortunate. It's got a big long rip there across the cover. That is Vault of Horror. I don't see an issue number. Oh, here it is. Black on dark blue makes it hard to see. That's number 17. Tales from the Crypt. There's the granddaddy of all titles. Number 40. Number 39. It's not really the granddaddy. It's not like it was the first, but it is certainly the most famous horror title. thanks in part to the TV show. Some of these I recall because this is really the largest stack of EC books I've ever held in my hands. But I do have a lot of these, perhaps most of them, from the years that they were reprinted, first by Russ Cochran and then by Gemstone. So like I remember this, and I believe I've read that, although it may have been 20 years ago. So I don't really remember exactly what's in it. But fantastic artwork. And you know, the thing that I really like about EC is that as great as the art was always in service to the story. It was never, you know, flashy or, you know, spanning panels and, you know, full page pinups and stuff like that. I mean, the art was there to tell the story. And look how much story you have. There's more words on these 2 pages than you would find in most modern comic books, an entire issue. Which is not to say that, you know, words for the sake of words is a good thing. We don't want, you know, what we call word salad. But these are just fantastic, fun stories. And great artwork that complemented rather than overshadowed the story. And then, you know, it's funny too, because all of these stories were done in, you know what, 5, 6, 8, maybe 10 pages. Writers today can't tell a story in 10 issues. So this is just fantastic stuff to me. It's really great. This one's got some staining and that kind of a stamp there on the top. Nice Al Feldstein cover. But we do have a nice little stack here. We're going to have about probably 3 stacks, about the size of that one we just saw. Panic! Panic was kind of the poor man's Mad, also done by EC. They imitated themselves. Panic number 3. Panic number 2. Oh, don't tell me we've got a 1. That would be too crazy. No. Weird fantasy. I really, more than the horror, I really liked the sci-fi stories, the weird sci-fi stories from EC. Those are really kind of my favorite. A lot of rust on these staples, unfortunately. So yeah, some of these are going to be down into the 1.8, 1.5. But they're all, you know, as far as I know, they're all complete. I will double check that as I am grading. And none of them, although we've seen a few with some, you know, large rips. This is cool. Some large rips and tears. None of them appear to have any, you know, big chunks of the cover missing. Oh, look, you could buy a drill. I don't know why that strikes me as funny, but not the kind of ad I would expect in a comic book today. This is cool. Is this Wally Wood? This looks like Wally Wood. Oh, yep, there it is right there. See his signature? Nice stuff. Al Feldstein did a lot of covers, both in the sci-fi and the horror genre. This looks like another Wood cover. Unfortunate stain and a little piece, but again, nothing really major. And I don't see any water staining on any of these issues or water damage, although the rust on the staples is, you know, pretty significant on some of these. And whoever tested out their new ballpoint pen there, number 38, Vault of Horror, number 34. Ooh, nice. Mad. Back before Mad was a magazine, it was a comic book, and I argue that Mad should go back to a comic book size just for, you know, ease of distribution, you know, through DC Comics. Maybe so it could fit in vending machines if DC will ever listen to me and do comic book vending machines. What number is this? Number 11. And maybe concentrate more on, you know, comic book based satire and things like that. But I think Mad could come back. I think is it still all in reprints, or did they renege on the reprint thing? There's a nice little beverage ring here. Mad number 14. What was the first magazine size issue? I think it was 20-something, 25, 6. That one's a little rough. This one's an early issue, I think. Oh, no, I guess number 19. Not super early. It's number 18. Connect those dots, why don't you? Think. Well, you would think that Steve Ditko did that cover. he had, if you don't know, he had that attached to the desk lamp over his drawing board, big block letters, think, to kind of remind himself, I guess, that these labels are on the cover. Don't let it fool you. What issue number is this? I think that 10 is 10 cents. I don't know. I don't know what issue number this is. This is number 8. Oh, we're back to Panic. I thought we were on Mad still. Break. Funny, a little browning, but that's going to happen with a white cover like that, of course. All right, here's another stack here. Let me get it out. This isn't going to be a very long video, but again, that's because I don't have a lot to say. I mean, I suppose I could tell you, the stories of how Bill Gaines started EC, how his father, who was apparently a horrible, horrible person, to him at least. Of course, his father, Max Gaines, was in constant pain. Now, he was drafted into World War I, so the injury couldn't have been that bad, but growing up in the Lower East Side slums, the Jewish ghetto of New York City, as a child, and the stories are different. Rather, he fell on what exactly he fell on, but he either leaned out of a second-story window or fell out somehow and fell on. And again, it's either I've heard it said a white picket fence or a wrought iron fence, but something did considerable damage to his leg, and he was in pain all his life. And that's why, if you ever see the movie on Robert Moulton Marston, the inventor, the creator of Wonder Woman, what is the name of that movie? Oh, Wonder Women. That's it. They show the actor Oliver something or other is the actor who plays Max Gaines, and he's kind of hobbling around and looking kind of cranky, and that's because of that leg injury. They don't cite it specifically, but I think it is a nice little point of research that somebody did, that they had him limping around that way, even though they didn't make a big deal or even mention why he was doing that in the I don't think they did anyway in the movie. But anyway, Max Gaines, who had founded All American Comics in conjunction with DC, and then sold the rights to all of that back to DC, and went on to create EC Comics. And the EC stood for Educational Comics, and that's what he focused on. But then he died in kind of a weird motorboating accident, because apparently motorboating was kind of not something you would normally have expected him to do. But they collided with another boat out on a lake somewhere in upstate New York, I think. And so he was killed, and the other adult in the boat was killed. The other adult's son, I guess, survived. And so Bill Gaines, his son, who at that time was looking to go on to become I think it was a chemistry teacher or something like that he wanted to be. And he was just starting college. Maybe he was midway through college, early 20s anyway. And so he inherited his father's company, and he could have done a lot of things. He could have sold it. He could have shut it down. He could have just walked away from it, but he kept it going. But he decided to keep it going as something that he wanted to do, partly in rebellion to his father. And he's acknowledged this, that turning to the horror stuff that was then already, by the time he was taking over EC Comics, was fostering book burnings, comic book bonfires nationwide, because people were reacting to what was supposed to be, or what was seen as, a children's entertainment medium, dealing with crime and horror and these other fantastic genres. And so he turned to that just because he knew his father would have hated it. And was very, very successful at it until the 1954, I think it was, the Keyhofer hearings, the Senate hearings into the origins of juvenile delinquency, where they tried to blame it on comic books, mostly because of a book called Seduction of the Innocent by a fellow called Dr. Frederick Wortham, whose research was kind of spotty. He pretty much concluded that because all juvenile delinquents read comic books cause juvenile delinquency. I mean, you might as well said, because all juvenile delinquents drank milk as children, milk caused juvenile delinquency. But anyway, Bill Gaines is famous for, he was on some drug, had a cold, and it was Percocet or something like that. Something that you probably wouldn't take today, but was legal then, if my memory serves. I should have researched this before. I'm just kind of talking off the cuff here. But his testimony before the Senate hearing was pretty god awful. They tried to make him defend a cover, an EC cover, and I hope we would see it in here. That would be cool. Of somebody holding up a woman's severed head and asked him if they thought that was in good taste, and he tried to defend it and did a really, by all accounts, a pretty poor job. Partly because he was kind of strung out on cold med. And it was shortly after that the Comics Code Authority was founded. And that was actually the second self-censorship attempt within the comic book industry. You might remember a recent unboxing, we saw the logo on one of the Eastern Color books for, and now I forget the name of it, I think it was the NACP, National Association of Comic Book Publishers. Is that right? But that was a self-censorship organization that EC wouldn't join, Fawcett wouldn't join, maybe Fawcett did join, but Dell wouldn't because they had their own standards, and DC wouldn't because they had their own, editorial advisory board that they were touting with all these psychologists and whatnot. Psychologists like William Moulton Marston, who was really into sadomasochism and bondage and whatnot. So. But he was a psychologist, so anyway, that's about all I can tell you there. And again, it was off the cuff. I probably should have written down a little script or something. Maybe we'll do that someday. We'll do a scripted thing on the history of EC Comics if there's any kind of demand for that. But there you go, Shock SuspenStories. That was the kind of the title that they were most over the line with, and I think that cover that we mentioned with the severed head was a Shock SuspenStories cover. That looks like a wood cover as well. I don't see his signature there, but boom, boom. That one's kind of scary. So you had Shock SuspenStories and Crime SuspenStories. This one's got a little damage right there. This one has a stamp on it. What does this stamp say? It's something Book Nook in Buffalo, New York. And I can't, it looks like it's Dr. B Book Nook, maybe? It's hard to say. Here's Mad number 5. Wow, that's cool. Kane Keen, Private Eye. That's pretty cool. And Mad number 7. That's a famous cover. Almost always when you see an article online or in print or somewhere on the history of Mad Comics, they usually include this cover from number 7. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then we've got two more books, and these happen to be in bags and boards, probably because they're a little better condition. Here's Weird Science number 16. Incredible science fiction stories. I love this. And this is a wood cover. There it is right there. But this getup, the monster is the alien here is pretty cool. But the spacesuit is really cool. And then, oh my God, look at these creatures. And that's another Al Feldstein cover. But this one looks like it's the cover's detached here from the top staple. I'm just guessing based on that little hole there, but that's pretty cool. And those are some freaky sci-fi aliens. Wow. Would you like to see something like that on Star Trek, huh? All right. Well, that's it. That's those books. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I was fairly entertaining. Like I said, I didn't have a lot to say there about those books, but other than they're just cool. Just like my little leather face here is super cool. But anyway, let us close things out here with the code word, the super double top secret code word to enter the 1,000 subscriber contest. Let's go with horrific burger. Burger. You can tell I'm hungry, right? Horrific booger. Not that I've never eaten those in a pinch. And I'm not saying just when I was a child. horror booger or horrific booger, whatever pleases you. Leave that in the comments below, either as part of any comment you might like to make or all by itself, and that'll earn you one entry into the great 1,000 subscriber contest. So come back tomorrow. Pretty sure we'll be back tomorrow. But I'm trying to hit 9 a.m. every day with an unboxing video, and then maybe an extra video in the evening as time allows. So here's hoping that I am back tomorrow morning. Whatever tomorrow is for you, it'll probably be a week or so after I actually film this. It'll take me that long to edit it, and it'll take like 3 days to upload it on the hamster wheel that I have here for internet service in Western Maine. But anyway, until then, wherever we meet again, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.